Now, if you're a guy, you've probably hated the thought of training legs. It's high effort, leaves you feeling sore the next few days, and it's kind of hard to shake the thought while you're midway in the set of Bulgarian split squats that, man, will anyone even notice if I would just skip this leg day? Now, if that sounds like you, here is the perfect video for you. This is gonna be the most bare bones leg day workout that you can complete in as low as 30 minutes time while still getting a well-rounded leg day in. Let's get into it. Now, real quick, let me run through the 4 major muscle groups that encompasses the lower body / legs. First, you have your quads, then you have your hamstrings, glutes, as well as calves. Now, I know technically, there's hip adductors and some stuff, but for the sake of simplicity, we're gonna be focusing on these 4 major muscle groups, and calves is actually gonna be optional at the end, so let's get into it. First exercise on the list is going to be 2 sets of 6 to 8 reps of some sort of squat. It could be hack squat in this case, but also could be leg press, pendulum squat. Now, I'm naming the machine variations because those are generally going to be a little bit easier on the brain because you don't have to focus on stabilization. But if you prefer a free weight squat, that will suffice too. Now, this is going to be your main quads focused movement because we're having a more high bar type of setup where we're more upright. We're focusing on getting as deep of a knee bend as possible so we can get a good stretch on the quads. Now, I'm assuming chances are if you hate leg day, you probably don't like free weight squats. Maybe you have long femurs, maybe it's just not comfortable on your lower back. So using a machine like this can definitely help make the quality of life better when you're training the quad. Plus, you can safely bail if you hit failure. But if we're talking in terms of optimizing quads growth, I would choose the variation of the squat that allows you to go the deepest so that you're actually able to get the best stretch on your quads possible. Because there's a lot of evidence suggesting that quads is a muscle that benefits from stretch-mediated hypertrophy. Thus, you want to be choosing exercise where you can get a good stretch on the quads. Well, let's be honest, if you're skipping leg day, we don't really have to focus on optimization here. Just if this exercise would get you training legs, I'm happy with it. So you don't have to think too hard about that. Now, in the case of a big exercise like the squat, I always try to aim for going more high effort and lower volume, meaning you can probably get away with doing like 2 sets. You can stay within the 6 to 8 rep range with the caveat that you're training close enough to failure. So I would say within 2 reps shy of failure, if you're training that hard, you can probably get away with just doing 2 sets on this exercise, making the workout more efficient, but at the same time more intense. We're gonna have to give and take somewhere, people. So you're still gonna have to train hard in order to actually have your quads grow. Hence, this is probably my favorite way to do it if you hate leg day. So moving on to exercise number 2. Also, real quick, people, able to just release some new graphic tees. So if you look with the little GTA San Andreas font in the back on this shirt, as well as many other cool designs, check out Abel's new graphic tee drop and use code PATH to get an extra 10% off everything. The support will be much appreciated. All right, people, moving on to exercise number 2. It's gonna be 2 sets of 6 to 8 reps on the Smith machine Bulgarian split squat. Now, we're gonna be performing it in a more glute-focused fashion where we're leaning forward more, but we're also gonna be training the rectus femoris, which is a head of the quad that's not gonna be as active on your traditional squat variation. So a lot of people absolutely hate this exercise because not only do you have to worry about training legs, you have to worry about balance, you have to worry about your grip giving out. It's just a very demanding exercise all around. So with that said, the solution is to use a Smith machine, which makes the balance a lot easier, as well as removes your grip from the equation at all. So your grip's not a limiting factor, balance is a little bit better, but you will have to load the spine. But you're probably not gonna be going too heavy on this exercise anyways, at least compared to a squat, so it's not gonna be as taxing on your erectors or anything. And like I mentioned, for the sake of programming, we're gonna be doing a more glute-focused variation, and what that really looks like is when we go down for the squat, instead of being completely upright, we're actually gonna be leaning forward slightly like here, and with this back leg over here, we're actually gonna be training the rectus femoris on the back leg of the exercise. So make sure that you're actually pushing off your back leg and not just having your front leg do all the work. Now you can also do this on a hack squat like I've shown before, but you're not really gonna be training the rectus femoris on that back leg nearly as much because you don't really have anything to push off of. So all around, give this a try. Same intensity, same kind of volume, right? We're trying to keep things more efficient so you don't have that much time to think about it and just leave midway through your workout. But let's move on to the third exercise. Ooh. Right, exercise number 3 is gonna be 2 sets of 8 to 12 on a seated hamstring curl or a stiff leg deadlift. I'll leave it up to you. The seated hamstring curl is obviously gonna be isolating the hamstrings alone, but with a stiff leg deadlift, you're gonna be able to get some glute action as well if that is a priority for you. Now we're talking hamstring curl variations. I recommend doing a seated hamstring curl over, let's say, a lying one or one of those standing donkey-like ones. I don't really know what it's called. But the reason being is you're able to get a better stretch on the hamstrings in this seated position as the hamstrings cross both the hip joint as well as the knee joint. Similarly to the quads, hamstrings are an exercise that have been shown to benefit from stretch medial hypertrophy, which essentially means exercises that put the hamstrings into stretch is probably a better option than exercises that avoid doing that. Now I say a straight set of 8 to 12 reps would suffice, but what you can do is a little bit of a mechanical drop set technique where you start off leaning forward like this so that you're getting an even better stretch on the hamstrings. However, the cost here is you're not gonna be as stabilized since you're not, resting on the seat. So naturally you're gonna fail here sooner than if you were to be back there. So once you fail in this more stretched position, you drop back, press yourself into the seat and continue on, and likely you're able to get a couple more reps by doing that. And on the note of the stiff leg deadlift, the idea between a stiff leg deadlift versus a Romanian deadlift is by keeping a straighter leg on the stiff leg deadlift, you're able to bias more of the hamstrings over the glutes. Now I'm gonna leave it up to you on what exercise you choose. The stiff leg deadlift is a compound movement, so it's gonna be more fatiguing. If you tend to get lower back pain, probably not the best exercise for that. But on the other hand, if you enjoy using free weight exercises, maybe your hamstrings aren't a lagging body part and you would rather get some more glute action going, then that could be a good option as well. What you could do is alternate them week by week, or if you hit 2 leg days within 1 week, you can do 1 leg day with a seated hamstring curl, another leg day with a deadlift. And the last exercise on the list that is optional is going to be a leg press calf raise. I like doing the calf raise on the leg press just because I'm able to be seated after a hard leg day. Sometimes you want something more chill and not have to worry about standing or balancing, so this is a good variation for that. Now, instead of doing 2 sets or anything like that, I recommend doing a rest pause method for the calves. I know at this point you guys just want to get out of the gym, so doing this will make things more efficient, and you're essentially trying to maximize the number of effective reps you're gonna get in this short period of time. Now, how a rest pause set works is you're gonna take the first set to roughly around 10 reps, relatively close to failure. Once you're there, you're gonna rest for 10 to 15 seconds and then hop back on and take another set all the way to failure. And what you're doing here is you're maximizing the number of hard reps because you're shortening the rest time in between. Now, don't go around doing this for every single exercise because straight sets with sufficient rest times is still gonna be better than a rest pause method for hypertrophy outcomes. But of course, this is just gonna be way quicker. Now, technically, if you're trying to optimize building your calves, you can alternate between a seated bent leg variation, so the seated calf raise with the knee anchor on. I recommend alternating that week by week, or again, if you have 2 leg days within the week, that's perfect. You can do 1 leg day can be straight legged, other leg day can be a bent leg calf raise. And that was the leg day workout. Make sure if you're finding yourself skipping leg day, just do this workout instead. You'll get in there and get out in under 30 minutes. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please leave a like, support my page, hit subscribe to level up your physique, and don't forget to hit the bell notification, get these videos right as they come out. See you on the next one. Peace.